Peace, peace, peace. What's up? Um, so I was listening to the show I usually listen to from 4 to 7, Carl Nelson show, 1450 News Talk. If you get a chance, download the app, and you'll hear great, great experts speak on current events. He usually has physicians on there, historians, um, um, people that speak on metaphysics, people that speak on nutrition, health. Um, I strongly recommend you listen to his show. Um, but today I heard a lady come on there and she was speaking about people leaving and choosing to go to other places, and she said the fight is here. Um, okay, so the fight is here. All right, so let's speak on the fight. Um, I know the one of the first laws is self-preservation. So yes, you're right. The fight is here, but when you see someone running and they're getting shot in the back, um, do you consider them a coward, or were they exercising the law, of nature, which is self-preservation? People that you see being attacked with a weapon and them fighting back, and then they get shot down in the street. Are they considered as cowards? No, they're fighting self-preservation. They're trying to preserve their life. All right. If the fight is here, where do we sign up for this fight? What group? Who's organizing the group? What do we have to do in this fight? Who's in charge of the training? Who's organizing the meetings? Who are you going to have as a leader? Are we going to have a leader? Are we going to have leaders? Are we just going to be together as a collective and then just share ideas? Are we going to start a military force to protect? I don't know, maybe protect your neighborhoods. Is that what we're going to do? Because there's people right now living in different parts of the world. Some living comfortably, some living maybe not comfortably, but at the same time, they're living their life and they're not seeing or experiencing some of the things that's happening here right now in this present day. I don't know. The thing that's disturbing to me is that a lot of us have read a lot of books. Like, I know I've read a lot of books. I haven't read a whole I haven't read a whole bunch of books on the history of, for instance, America. I have an idea of the history of America, being educated here, but we do know that the education system here probably needs a revamping, right? And then there is conflict within even the education, because I hear there have people here that are the descendants from slaves that are asking for reparations. And then the major conflict I hear is that you have the descendants that came here from slavery, and then you have, which is known as the native melanated people that were here also prior to any melanated people coming here as slaves as well. So I want to challenge the historians and find out what is accurate. who is truly the natives of this land? Is it is it what we know now as the Native Americans? Um, and during that time period, were there any interbreeding between that initial contact of say foreigners coming to this land and and um, and mating or interbreeding, whatever the case may be, on these lands? That did that then create a new race of people? I just need clarity. And then who is considered what race? Because race seems to be the big thing here. I'm told if you have one drop of melanated blood, then you're considered a melanated person. Um, those are just some of the things that I just need clarification on, because it's a lot of confusion. I hear about the talks of treaties signed, but some people say that their ancestors did not sign these treaties, and their lands were tricked and taken from them through the taxation because they couldn't afford to pay the taxes, so their lands were taken from them. And then I hear the history of some of the lynching that was done in this country is based on the land grab as well. So you lynch the family, and then you take possession of the land. Um, then the next thing I want to know is religion. Some of us are part of all these different denominations based on, let's say Christianity, for instance, right? We have all these denominations. I challenge the pastors. Do they know who started these denominations? And from knowing who started them, do you know the founders' history? Were they melanated people? Were they Europeans? Were they racists? Were they against slavery? And the thing that's very disturbing is that when they used to lynch people in various parts of the world, when some of these missionaries were even going to different places introducing Christianity, they did so with the sword, and people were even into the 1900s, people were lynched, and then Bible scriptures were read right before people were being lynched. Um, we know language is a frequency, and this language was forced upon the ancestors, right? And then Christianity as a whole, I believe, in regards to these lands, um, it took well over 100 years before the the people were indoctrinated, because you had to strip them of their language, strip them of their culture, so that you can communicate with them on a frequency where you could control them, you could dominate them. Um, these are just some of the questions I need clarifications on, because how are you a part of a religion and reading from the same book that was read from when your ancestors were being lynched? It the whole thing just seems weird. And then we have melanated people that are also a part of Islam. Islam was also forced upon melanated people in especially North Africa, um, through warfare. So I wonder what was the spiritual teachings of ancestors before Islam and Christianity? What were you before you you came to these lands and you were indoctrinated with Christianity or Islam. What were you before that? What religion were you a part of before that? And keep in mind that prior to these the European taking on Christianity, they were pagan. And then it's like you jump on the bandwagon of Christianity because you see the momentum and the force coming from the people in regards to this new religion. This is history, right? So let's cover all the bases. Let's put all the facts out there. Let's go over how land was taken from people systematically. And I thought that people fought initially against taxes, but then only to have your land taken here based on taxes. So these are just some of the things that I'm trying to understand. I still fully don't understand a lot of this stuff. But going back to the main point, self-preservation is what everybody exercises. Everybody. So who decides when we're going to fight? And speaking of fighting, during these protests, mind you, that the initial reasons for them were to fight against oppression, right, and inequality, and things that things were done to them in an unjust manner. You had the surveillance equipment being utilized during that time. I don't know if some people noticed, they had drones, they had helicopters, they had cameras everywhere. They were using military style equipment. And I don't know if you get a chance, you can look up the voice to skull technology utilized by the military, because I've seen a few times where people would scatter and run. Where they're receiving some type of frequency or bombarded with some type of frequency weapon, where it would like send shocks throughout the body. There's just so many questions, and I'm looking for the answers. And then I hear about this talk about pseudoscience. How many books can we read before we realize that the educational system is not concrete? Right? Who's got a chance to read The Stolen Legacy? Who's got a chance to read The Miseducation of the Negro? Who's got a chance to read The Destruction of the Black Civilization? Who's read the ISIS papers? Like, there's so many. How many books can we read to understand that the education system has to be changed? I learned more on my own outside of the educational system than the whole time I was in school. Then I was tired about hearing about slavery. How is it that our people that created civilization in Egypt, right? The pyramids are still standing. We did that. Our ancestors built those, right? Our ancestors built those pyramids, and to this day, you see that civilization modeled here, um, and abroad and throughout the world. Isn't there a pyramid in Paris? I believe the Memphis Grizzlies used to play in a pyramid. The Washington Monument looks pretty familiar to something I've seen in Africa. As long as well as, pardon me, the the structures that I see in Rome. Matter of fact, in the middle of the Vatican. So we have to address all of these things, because even on the dollar bill, there's a pyramid on there. Um, I don't know. I'm just trying to find it. I'm just trying to find the answers. I'm just asking the questions, because a lot of this stuff does not make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. That's the challenge that I have to the pastors. Give us the true history of when the Bible was created, the timeline, who put the Bible together. It is said that the original 10 writers, 7 of them were melanated people. I challenge the historians, all of them. When was land taken from the native people here? Who signed those treaties? These are the questions that I have. We are great people. We come from greatness, and we have to know that. We have to know that. That's why I would not let nobody look down on me or talk down to me because of their skin complexion. Right? We taught these people science, math. But because of colonization, slavery, a lot of people has forgotten a lot of these things. And mind you, going back to the religion, the masses were not educated. The masses weren't even literate. They couldn't even read. The clergy was in charge. The clergy was telling these people what was coming out of the quote unquote good book or good books. But now, today, we can read for ourselves. But yet and still, we still have to have somebody interpret these words for us. Don't be manipulated. Think for yourself. Peace.